Still going to be some queuing because that's not what we're approaching here.
Yeah, I'm Warren Clark. I live in Meredith, out past Pleasant Street. But I wanted to mention that some of the questions, people are concerned with the idea of a roundabout getting jammed up. And it occurs to me that part of this might have to do with people being used to having a traffic signal in the center of town, which causes cars to stop for up to 2 minutes before they get to go again. And I'm wondering if, and I'm thinking that once we have multiple roundabouts, that they'll be slow, but perhaps not stop. And I'm wondering if you'd just spend a minute talking about this as a system, and also comment on whether or not the committee ever considered having a combined roundabout signal solution, and how that would have worked. I guess that's my question. Thank you.
Okay, and I'm gonna throw him under the bus a little bit because Warren is one of the several members who he's on the current committee. He was also on the committee that we had several years ago, so he's well versed in this project. The idea of a system is just that this is not just about the roundabouts. It's about the fact that we've put this median separating the flows of traffic on either side, so that combined with that much simpler decision making that you have to make. You're not looking to your left and to your right, and you're making one decision to whether it's you have enough space to enter that roundabout. Once you do that, you move to the next intersection and then you make a decision there. So it's simpler your mind so that you can get through this whole corridor with less stress, and that slow, steady traffic is going to be much more comfortable and it'll flow. And as people get used to it, there won't be the delays that occur when you have a signal at that big intersection and people back up. Then the light goes green, and then a certain slug of traffic goes, and then you inch up, and then you stop again.
So if the roundabout gets jammed, how long is it likely to stay jammed before some cars can get out, I guess?
Again, we have this in a presentation that we made. Right, I understand, and I think these are the things that we are prepared to present at the public hearing. This was sort of a last-minute thing for me to be here, so we didn't want to make a big presentation and show you all the traffic numbers. That's really for the public hearing. But we'll show you what sort of operations we're expecting at all these roundabouts and how much delay. And we've been looking at it from this peak period, which is really your summertime. So it's always going to work better the minute you're off peak. You're going to get a much better flow of traffic. But during those peak periods, there are going to be some delays, but they're more predictable. And again, there's not always this thing where you get a green light and or a red light and it backs up. As you approach it, it's going to be a more constant flow, and you're just waiting your time. You get through the roundabout, and you go, and then you can. Once you get through the roundabout, you can continue through.
Louise Green, True Road, top of 25. I've been hearing slow, steady movement around the roundabouts. I go through the red light, I make a left turn, and I stop because I got pedestrians crossing. I feel it's pedestrians are the issue, not the traffic and the cars.
Do you know Warren?
We're starting to lean toward a hearing type setup here, and I really didn't want to get to that point. So if I understand that people have questions, and maybe if Lou could direct people to their website. I think there's a lot of information on your website. Is that correct?
Yes.
And so between now and the hearing, you can go onto their website and really do your homework, and then you'll be better prepared for the hearing, so that we're not all having to ask a million questions at the hearing. So this is actually really good that we're doing this.
Do you want me to answer her question or no?
Yes, I do.
And
then we'll get back to sort of technical, and then we'll wrap it up.
So the question you asked is about that left turn traffic. You finally get to the point where you get the green light, you make the turn, and all of a sudden it's backed up. And that's certainly because of the crosswalk that exists at Dover Street. So that, and it's kind of a combined, because you're merging traffic, so everybody's first of all concerned about that decision. Oh, I'm merging 2 lanes into 1 lane, and just as you get to the end of that and you're done, oh, there's a crosswalk, and during your summertime, which is a great service, you guys have your officers there that are trying to control that. Again, here, good, bad, or whatever, we're only going to have the single lane. So once you make that turn and you make that left turn, you're going to approach the crosswalk. That crosswalk is going to be much simpler in that there's only those pedestrians are going to cross that 1 lane of traffic. And what happens a lot now is that, you know, someone is crossing the road and everybody stops. They're stopping both ways because they should. That's the law. When you have a median that's a safe refuge, they can cross one direction and then cross the other. So when cars are crossing, or pedestrians are crossing, it's going to be a much simpler state. And again, this is that slow, steady flow. So as people are making that turn, there's going to be a lot more opportunities to just cross, and it's 20 feet. I mean, right now, you're probably at least 40 feet of pavement that you're crossing there right now. It's probably, maybe it's closer to 50. Now you're talking about 20 feet of pavement. So you're not exposed to them, the pedestrians aren't exposed to the traffic, and they're going to delay you a lot less because they're only going to be in front of you for 20 feet. So it's going to be a much more efficient interaction between the cars and the pedestrians. And it's going to be a lot safer. I mean, when the officers are there, that's good because you have someone controlling it. But when they're not there and you have cars essentially trying to merge together, and people tend to speed up when they're trying to merge, and then your crossing is not the greatest situation anyway. So.
Turns in and out of Dover Street.
Oh, that's true. And we've eliminated anyone, you know, coming out of Dover Street making that left turn.
I just want to add that just as with the traffic, the committee did not see the pedestrian issue as a solution. The solution for the pedestrians is drive them all out of town, shoot them, do something like that. But we see, you know, this is what we see as an improvement rather than as a solution. There is no real solution. We thought about bridges, we thought about tunnels, none of that works. And so this is what we've come up with as an improvement, not necessarily a solution.
Madam Chair, excuse me. I just want to give a couple of points of information really quick because people are leaving. Is that okay?
Go for it.
Okay, the first thing is I used to work for DOT, and I've been through a bunch of these public hearings, 101 being probably the craziest one of them. One of the things that the town recommended was to the people who come, go for a walk, take the map that you've received today and walk it, and it'll help you actually visualize. And I'm not giving you an opinion one way or the other on this. I'm just saying it'll help you visualize and maybe help you to put together your opinions on what's happening in a little bit more, much more together than how I'm speaking right now. And that was one of the things that they said. The other thing was that Lou brought up the Manchester, Vermont. And I really strongly suggest for those of you who want to look at, if this were to pass, what the construction might look at, to Google Manchester, Vermont, hit the images button. It's going to show you the before, the after, and the construction process. So I'm sorry to interrupt on questions, but as people leave, I just wanted you all to have that information. Thank you.
And also you mentioned, Chair, the website. We do have a project website. It's www.meredith3-25.com. And on that, we actually have this graphic is posted in a PDF, so if you want to zoom in and really look at it, you can. All of the minutes from all the advisory committee meetings and all the presentations. So some of the questions about traffic and different things, we've presented some of that stuff. So if you maybe start with the later, the more recent meetings, you'll see some of those on those presentations.
This gentleman over here, I know is very
Dave Connor, I live in Meredith, but I'm on the far east side of Meredith, and I have to go through this every day. I'll be honest with you, I came here tonight really hoping to hear more of a solution to the congestion situation. It isn't just weekends, it's from mid-May to mid-September, it's every single day. It backs up at least to Keyser Road and Old Center Harbor Road. On the weekends, it's at least to the Catholic Church and sometimes to the Canoe Restaurant in Center Harbor, at which point it takes an hour and 10 minutes just to get to the light. And I have to go through that every single day, and I'll be honest with you, I'm a little disappointed in that I was really hoping to hear more of a solution to that situation, and narrowing that from this direction, my direction, to go from 2 lanes to 1 around that corner at the junction there. Whew, I just can't imagine how it's going to be any better. I'm sorry. So.
Jim Hughes, and then I think we might wrap it up, unless somebody has a really seriously important technical question.
Yeah.
A non-technical question.
Not allowed, sorry, Jim.
It's allowed. It's one of the most important questions to be
I'm
asked.
just teasing, Jim. Go
When
ahead.
does it start? And when will the last contractor's truck be out of town and the road excellent for travel?
That's a good question. Right now, the construction money is allocated for 2017. So it's 2017, 2018 is the time frame for construction. Now, obviously, this is going to be a challenging project to construct, just because we want to try to build it and minimize disruption to traffic. So those are the things that will come as we get into the more detail. But 2017 and 2018 is when the construction right now is scheduled to occur.
I would add that, Jim, we're well aware that you can't do paving in January and February. We know that. We also know that we can't do paving during the day in the July and August. They're well aware of that. But we're thinking that mostly we're going to be tearing up pavement rather than putting down pavement. And they have a pretty good experience in terms of how you can put in a roundabout lickety-split, either at Parade Road or down at the Weirs. You can do that pretty quickly. It's not a big paving job. So we're hopeful that they will be able to figure out some system in which they can get 3 roundabouts in and tear up the pavement that needs to be torn up.
It is a challenge, though. It is a challenge. This is going to be a tough one to build, and again, those are the things that we have to develop once the community really tells us this is the way we want to do it.
It's made to solve challenges and has for 100 and more years.
I want to thank everyone for coming. Is it technical? One more question?
Carla,
That's it.
It's recreational technical. Ken O'Neill, Meredith. Real quick, the white openings for emergency vehicles, in the winter, when the lake freezes, we have pond hockey, we have the ice fishing derby. Sleds and recreational vehicles need to get off of the ice to go to get fuel and things like that. Will they be able to go through those white openings? Has there been any consideration for how those recreational vehicles will be able to get onto Hawkins Creek? Hawkins Creek is actually a snowmobile trail.
That's actually a very good question.
Yeah. It's somewhat technical.
It's something. It's something that the committee didn't consider, but it's also the kind of question where I am confident that for particular uses at particular times, there is a solution. A solution can be worked out. What I am very hopeful of is that we can get this thing, if we can get this thing approved at the public hearing, that the committee can disappear, and I will go with it.
Thank you, everyone, for coming, and please do your homework for the hearing. Workshop is adjourned for a 10-minute recess.
All right, on with the merger, unmerger.
Good evening. Good evening. There we go. Welcome to the Meredith regular meeting. the Meredith Select Board. Sorry, we're having a little bit of confusion in the room. Of December 15th, 2014, and please at this point stand and join Peter Brothers with Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Peter. At this time, I will do roll call. Hillary Seeger.
Present. Good evening.
Luke Kahn.
Good evening.
Sorry. Nate Torr.
Good evening.
Vice Chair Peter Brothers. I am Carla Horn.
Still a good evening.
Town Manager Phil Warren.
Good evening.
And our recording clerk, Karen Landry. Do I have a motion for acceptance of minutes?
Madam Chair,
Nate.
I move to accept the minutes of November 3rd and November 17th.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'm sorry. Were there any corrections?
They swipe my maps.
I think they're outside, Lou.
Okay, the maps will stay there. Thanks.
Sorry, just for the public's information, in case you didn't attend or watch the workshop, we're all a little bit crazed behind here. We just had approximately an hour and a half of an informational update for the 3 and 25 proposals. Very nice presentation from Luke Hahn, and also from the one of the engineers. Don't remember his name.
Gene
but anyway,
McCarthy.
Thank you, Gene McCarthy. And anyway, so it was a little bit crazy in here, and we'll try to get back on track, and I apologize for that. Okay, so we did not have corrections for the minutes, and we will accept the minutes. Okay, thank you. Next on the agenda is Town Manager's report.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I only have a few items. The first one is we are working, actually Mike Val is spearheading this, but we are working on a plan with the Department of Environmental Services to seek some or all funding for the removal of our underground storage tanks. As you may or may not be aware, the underground storage tanks at Public Works need to come out by the end of 2015. We had always discussed this as part of a proposed Public Works facility project. Mike actually had a preliminary meeting with DES staff today, and it's our goal to receive funding to pay for part, if not all, of that removal, which we estimate is about $30,000. So if we could have that paid through a DES grant, that would be $30,000 less that the town would incur.
Good work.
The next item I have is we are going to do an abbreviated snow pickup in the downtown area to try to remove some of the snow and ice that's left. We're going to do it during working hours. While our snow and ice policy says we don't remove it if it's less than 12 inches, it's been down there long enough and it's starting to freeze up, and we haven't had the benefit of warm enough temperatures to remove that snow and ice. The next item I have is that, in case you're not aware, we accept waste oil at the transfer station. The more the better, please. It is heating season, and we do use it to heat both the Public Works facility, which is light on insulation, and the solid waste facilities. Other than that, that's all I have, Madam Chair, other than, because I won't have this opportunity again, to wish folks in town a Merry Christmas, Happy Hanukkah, however you celebrate the holidays. I wish you well.
Thank you, Phil.
Here, here.
Are there any visitors or residents' comments? Any select board comments? None? New business? We have none. Old business? We have a hearing for a lot on merger request 14-0 36. And I would need to read the hearing notice. Phil, do you have that handy?
I do. You want me to read it?
Please.
More than happy. The Select Board will conduct a public hearing to receive input on a request by, of course, now you all, Jeremiah and Barbara Reardon to restore and voluntarily merge lots located at Collinsbrook Road, tax map R7, Lot 41. The hearing will be held during the Select Board meeting on December 15th, 2014, which begins at 4:15 p.m. The Meredith Community Center, 1 Circle Drive, Meredith, New Hampshire. Questions or comments may be directed to Philip L. Warren, Jr., Town Manager, 41 Main Street, Meredith, New Hampshire, or pwarren@meredithnh.org.
Okay, do I have a motion to open the hearing?
Madam Chairman?
Yes, Peter.
Move that the board open the public hearing on the lot unmerger request.
I second it.
Thank you. And we need an update on this matter, and John Edgar is not here. Do you have an update, Phil?
Yeah, I would actually be more than happy to give you that update. You actually had this reviewed in your workshop, and this is a request similar to the, what is this, our fourth one?
Mm-hmm.
Fourth lot unmerger request, and as we discussed in all the other ones, under RSA 674:39AA, it is expressly stated that lots that were not merged voluntarily by the owner shall be unmerged by the selectmen upon request, and that will continue until December 31st of 2016. In this case, we have 2 lots, and no owner in the chain of title has voluntarily merged these 2 lots. According to our town records, tax map R-7, lot 41 is 1.9 acres in size with 502 feet of waterfront on Lake Winnisquam. Improvements on lot 41 would include a single-family dwelling, an approved septic system, sheds, and a dock. Lot 41 is comprised of 2 tracts having separate origins and conveyance history, and the property was inspected by Carl Johnson, who is a licensed surveyor, and he determined the location of the improvements in relation to the 2 tracts, and they do not span or go over onto the other tract that they wish to have unmerged. We have no record in the town files that show that these lots were ever voluntarily merged, and therefore, excuse me, in my opinion, and based on the staff reports submitted by John Edgar with his research, that this would be appropriate for said lot unmerger.
Thank you. Would there be any public comment regarding this matter? Any comments from the board? Oh, I'm sorry, go ahead, sir.
I'd like to ask a question. I'm in a butter.
Could you just give your name, please?
Yes, I will identify myself. My name is Christopher Volpe. The property which I own is a budding property. Hi, my name is Chris Volpe. I'm in a butter. Property is R42. Just a question, definitions. I think I understand the basis for the unmerger. As far as the definitions are concerned, what's defined as an improvement?
Madam Chair.
Go ahead.
An improvement would be any type of structure, either above ground or below ground. So if the septic system traversed the lines that we were going to unmerge, or if there was a house or a similar permanent structure that was placed over it, that would be indication that there was some action to voluntarily merge the lots.
Does not include access ways or anything of that nature?
No.
That's the only question I have.
Thank you, sir. Any other comments from the public? Any board comments?
Madam Chair, I move that we close the hearing.
I second it.
Okay. All in favor of closing the hearing?
Aye.
Hearing is now closed. And then at this point, I guess, then I will take a motion to approve the lot merger of the unmerged lots. Peter?
Madam Chairman, there is a format that we typically have adopted as a result of both our policies and also recommendations by legal, so I'll proceed to read this rather lengthy motion.
That sounds good.
Okay.
Thank you, Peter.
In the matter of Jeremiah and Barbara Reardon, owners of tax map R7, lot 41, having requested that tax map R7, lot 41 be restored to pre-merger status in accordance with New Hampshire RSA 674:38-AA. The owners make their request at their own risk, and Mr. Reardon's agent, Mr. Carl Johnson, Jr., LLS, submitted a letter dated October 6, 2014, confirming that all the improvements on tax map R7, lot 41 are located on the tract 1 and that tract 2 is indeed vacant. The town of Meredith makes no warranty as to the accuracy of the information submitted, nor has the town of Meredith caused any independent verification as to the location of the improvements on tax map R7, lot 41. And furthermore, that the Board of Selectmen hereby restores tract 1 and tract 2 to their pre-merger status as separate lots, and restoration of lots to pre-merger status will affect property assessments and therefore property taxes. And restoration of tract 1 and tract 2 to pre-merger status shall not be deemed to cure any non-conformity with existing local land use ordinances. The town of Meredith makes no present representation regarding the development potential of tracts 1 and 2. Future development is subject to whatever applicable zoning requirements. And furthermore, this decision of the Board of Selectmen may be appealed in accordance with the provisions of New Hampshire RSA 676, and that zoning and tax maps will be updated to identify the pre-merger boundaries of said last tract number 1 and tract 2. And lastly, this notice of lot restoration will be provided to the owner and recorded in the Belknap County Register of Deeds. Thank you.
And is there a second for that
I
motion?
second that motion.
Thank you. Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye. Done deed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Welcome.
We have no other items
A lot faster than what
on
I
the
before.
agenda, and before we adjourn, before we adjourn the meeting, I would just like to say Merry Christmas to all, and happy holiday season, and we will be back here next year.
Happy holidays. Happy holidays to you all.
Now the meeting is adjourned.
Thank you.
December.
Croc TV.